right, welcome to another coding session. We're continuing through, I've got this big to-do list of things to do. It looks really big, but a lot of these things I think are kind of small, but some of them are big. And my features I've split up into a few groups now. This top group I think is not going to require too much rework for our language. So this is where I thought we could start. We'll start from the top. So I want to refine our importing, because right now when you do an import it just looks in standard lib, which is not great. And because here our example program is just one file, so it's not a big deal, but a lot of the time your projects are going to be multiple files, so you need a way to import other files within your project, and right now you can't do that. So what I'm proposing to myself and accepting the proposal is that we do something like this. So this is saying get the GLFW module from the vendor library. And when it looks for a library, it will first look in the standard lib. And then the second place I'm going to get it to look is the lib folder of your project, which is a little bit opinionated, because then it's sort of deciding that's where you should put your libraries. And I prefer that it's not opinionated. So we'll do it like this for now, but I'm thinking in the future that maybe we'll allow the user to configure so they can choose where they want to put their libraries. I think that's better. But right now we're just going to allow those two locations. That should be enough for now. So yeah, it'll be something like this. And if you omit this, then it would just look in the current library. It won't try to look in a different library, it'll just look in the library that you're already in. So for your project code, it'll just look inside your project. Okay, so first thing is we need this import to accept a second parameter, which is optional. So I believe that's in the program. Here we go. This is the only procedure that we define like this still. It's kind of annoying that we have to do this manual stuff, but this here is the parameter. So I'm going to change that to module and then lib. They're both strings. This, I think we have to go 1, because here we add the second child, so then we need to add children to that second child. And then I want to add a couple more children. This assignment only has a left-hand side. This assignment, I want it to have an operator, which will be equals, and a right-hand side, which is the string literal empty string. I don't know if we're ever actually going to read that, but it's an empty string. I think we have to do this, because when I parse, I don't strip off the quotes. So I'm pretty sure that's how it kind of is. So that at least should now, yeah, so now we get failed to read GLFW, but we don't get something saying like, hey, you shouldn't have a second parameter here. Just can't find that module, which makes sense because, yeah, because it's missing this information. So from now, something we need to do is any place where we refer to a module, instead of just having the module name, we need to have two strings now, the lib name and the module name. And more generally, my idea is that, like if I have a look at one of these contexts, see we have a path in the context that tells us where we are in the program. And right now, that will be like module proc, potentially more procs, you know, because it'll tell us which module we're in, which procedure we're in within that module. And then because we have nested procedures, we could be in more procedures within procedures. And this tells us where we are. but we need to add lib to the front. And quite a lot of our code actually assumes that the first element is the module. So that's all going to break. So we have to pretty much fix up everywhere where we reference this. And a lot of places where we just use a module name, we're going to have to upgrade that so that we use a path name now. So it's going to be a bit of refactoring. Maybe a good place to start actually is if we find all the references to this path. So this is just copying the path. I think that's probably not a big deal. That's also copying. So this one I think will be interesting. So this get identifier node, it's looking in the current identifiers of the context, and then it's going up the path. See, it's starting with the full path, because path length is the length of the path, and then it's slicing, so it's basically getting the full path. But then we reduce the path length, so every iteration of this loop, it's moving up the path, up the procedures, and to the, not to the module though, because we do the modules separately. And that's why we say greater than 1 and not greater than 0. Well, if it was, if it was 0, but we're trying to get procedures. So my thinking is that this needs to be 2 now. I'm not feeling 100% confident. Let's leave it as 1. It'll probably throw an error if it needs to be changed, I hope. So here's a place, so we get in the module, right? And these are keyed by module name. But this is not enough now, because this could be a conflict. So we do have this here, get qualified name. So I might make a variation, get qualified module name. And so first one is the lib, second one is the module. And then if we just give them the module name, it's just basically these concatenated. And I want to put these in between so that there's no conflicts, like, because the lib could be called like, well, I guess it probably can't have slashes in the lib name. I don't know, actually. I guess it could. I don't know. Anyway, to prevent conflicts, we'll just like make a really clear delimiter between these two. And it's the same thing I did here to delimit between this and the procedure names. So this should get, from any path, this should get us the qualified name of the module itself. And then I guess we can substitute that in there. Well, actually, I guess it's like if length of path equals 2, qualified module name. Oh, that's right. I get a bit confused when I switch between languages a bit. Or, what feels nicest to me? Let's say if it's greater than 2, then we're going to concatenate it with some other stuff. We need to put the dot, I think, because we just have dot module, and then I want to have a dot after this. So that's the dot after. And then, so this is the path starting at the third element with dots in between. So these are the procedure names. Okay, and then we return that qualified name. Cool, so this one is just for when we only want the first two elements. We don't want to know about the procedures. So where were we? That's right, we were here. So now I want to do program.getQualified. Module name with the path, which it does not like, apparently. Okay, maybe it's just, I expected it to have nicer colors, but I guess it doesn't want to play ball with that. And now also the thing I notice is this here, because this is telling us the path where the identifier was found, which is actually the first two elements of the path now. Oh, now it's happy. And this should stay the same. That's saying that it's in the program itself. Okay, so, okay, we had a look at that. I think these are all this procedure that we just looked at. Okay, I think we're good. So here, this module, we want to say, we want to get the qualified module name again. To get that module. Something to be careful of here now, I think, is that we're creating these references. Yeah, so this has just got the module name. That, yeah, did I mention that before? I think this, our imports were just like, this was just the module name. But now when we import something, I think we need to specify an array of 2 strings to say like the lib and the module name. So it's like kind of like the path. So then this would be the imported module path. Yeah, that's also exposing this because this also should be like this with this path. And down here, when you create a reference, yeah, references, I guess, could be any length. I can't remember how it works. But in this case, it's the imported module, so we want the imported module path. Can I do this? Okay, not allowed after. So I think we can just do that. Do we need to make it a slice? Is it not a slice? Well, it seems happy now. So I think that should be a better reference. So it should have lib name, module name, and then whatever it is that we imported, we're referencing from that module. So that feels good to me. I think this might also need to be sliceified. And then there's also this place down here. So I think this one is all good. We played in here before. This is where it's looking at going up the path, looking for something, and then it returns what the path was. So I think, yeah, I think that one's all good. Okay, what else we got here? I think this is what we just changed. Yeah, that's getting this current procedure. I'm happy with that. Type check module here. This looks wrong. Need to get the qualified module name. Path equals name. I think that's wrong. So type check program. You know, I think this should be a path. And then we should pass the path around everywhere. proc path. Is this generation or something? Type checking. Oh, this is where we just were. Type check program. That's right. So we load the main module and type check it, and then as a result of that, it should populate this queue with a bunch of procedures that we then need to type check. And their paths should be their paths are what's on the queue. Okay, that makes sense. So it looks like we need this load module needs to take a path now. I mean, we know that that's going to be a 2. Do we know this one is also type check program? I guess we know that's also going to be a 2. Doesn't make sense to limit that like that. Oh. Okay. I'll ease off on that. But here I think we want to get the qualified module name. We're in program already. So we get the qualified module name and then check if that's in modules, because remember that's what we use to key our modules now, is the qualified module name. Tokenization, I feel like all that cares about is not really the qualified module name, is it? It's more the path, because in tokenization, the reason you pass a name in is so that the stream has this position information with a name. So that's basically where that gets used, is when there's an error and it prints something out. Do we have an example here? Yeah, see, like this. So we want this to be something that makes sense for the user. And qualified name doesn't. It's like, because it's got all this crap in the middle, lib module. So where were we even? Searching. Load module, I think we went into. Yeah, here we are. So I guess we want like a I'm not sure what to call it, but we want to go like this. And we want to have like path 0, path 1, and then maybe in the middle like a colon or something. So that we have lib colon and then this. Maybe that makes sense. So we won't call that the qualified name, we'll call that the I don't know, tokenization name. I don't think that makes much sense, but it's good enough. Here we need the qualified name. And, yeah, I guess this is also the qualified name. Okay. So that seems happy. So then we go back. That was us fixing that up, right? Yeah, that's what we just fixed up. And then I think down here, there was also a problem, the cyclic imports. Needs the path. Qualified module name. We do have program. But we have this program. Probably need to call that the program now. So that's how we get our module. That's the program. Append import. So I guess that's the qualified module name. So this import path here is kind of like, because we're checking for cyclic imports. So this is like all of the qualified module names that we went through to get to where we are. Imported module name. So this is actually a path now, right? Yeah, 2 strings. So imported module path. So then I guess we need the imported qualified module name. Maybe we need to slicify that, and then we check to make sure that that's not in the list here. Again, we're kind of printing it, so I kind of want like a nicer version of it. And I think here we pass the path on. So did we actually, which I guess needs to be sliced. So did we actually, was there actually a reason to have this path? I think all we did with it was get the name. So maybe we didn't actually need to here. Maybe we don't actually get the qualified name in here. Okay, whatever, that's fine, it's not a big deal. But here, I think I might just get like this, I'm going to call it the readable name. I'm going to use that. Going to use that in my cyclic imports also. So that's the imported module path. Oh, but the import path. So maybe we actually need the readable name. But we also need the qualified name to use here. I think that's the only reason we need it. Then if I go strings up here, so it's a bit happier with me. So the readable name is what we can put in our import path. And then here we can say, here's the readable imported readable name. I'm not loving these variable names, but whatever, file module. So now I think it's gonna, so we want the imported readable name. I think that's gonna look all right. Good enough. Okay, so type check program seems happy. Yeah, so let's move on and see where else we might have issues. This is getting the current qualified name. I think that's fine. This will need to change. Where the hell are we? This is the import statement. So this is interesting, actually. We're going to have to do a bunch of work here to rework imports. So let's move on for now. This is still imports. I think this is still imports. Static procedure, so we're creating a path by adding to the existing one. That seems fine. And then the last place is here. So it's getting a module, it's getting our current module. So looks like we don't import program here. So we want to do this to get our current module. And this now gives us a path. Right, which we then need to convert to the name. And I think we need to slice it. That should do what it did before. Okay. I'm going to try and run this just to see if there's like other errors. Okay. Well, this is an import statement, so that's fine. This is somewhere else completely. Get qualified name. So this is getting the imports, which is a path itself, right? So let's split this up because this is kind of confusing to me. So this looks like it's trying to get the module. But as we have established in a few places already, we need to do this now to get the module. Once we have the module, we're getting the imported module path. And we want to get the qualified name of that with this on the end. So I think we're going to need to make I don't think this is going to work. Let me try it. Import it, and then I just tag this on the end. No, that does not work. Is this the thing that's an array of 2? Oh, it doesn't really seem to know what it is. Is it because of this? It just seems generally confused, I think. I mean, I think that should be fine. Makes sense to me. So maybe we need to create a path, I guess. And then append this to it, and append this to it, and then we use that to get that name. So that makes me think that we can defer, delete it. I bet there's a bunch of memory leaks in my program. This probably needs to be sliced. Okay, so that should be the correct path. Where else do we have issues? Globals. So globals is actually not inside a lib, it's sitting outside. That's going to be kind of difficult, so I'm going to move it into core. Yeah, let's just move it into core. So that should be core globals. And core globals. And this should be, so maybe we'll say like a globals path. this here will be program.getQualified module name with the global's path. Type check program just has a name. So here, this is where I'm going to put main. So this means that it's like the project library. You know, it's like your main project. It's not some library you've imported, it's the main library. Okay, where are we up to? So this is returning an array of 2 strings, but generate main statements. It's taking a module name, which I think is not enough because I think this path, yeah, this path is going to have both of them in it. So I think we're going to have to bring in a path instead. And again, we're going to have to get the qualified module name from the path because we have this list of, I think it's modules where we've already generated the main statements, so we don't want to duplicate that. So we're adding them to the list. And we can also use it to get the module, yeah. I feel like this I can just slice. Okay, yeah, sometimes Odin's not happy with that kind of thing. So import a module path, slice it. Yeah, now it's happy. And here, basically, we just put the path. And I think that's it. This could be qualified module name, but whatever, it's good enough. Let me just run that again and see if I've introduced more errors. Yeah, because I wanted the path here now. And this is within our import. Okay. All right, so I think we've got all the refactoring done so that now our paths include the lib. So now we want to properly import. That's like the last step. So we've established that it's an import statement, which is an assignment. The right-hand side of the assignment is this import call node. So this is the call node. The first child of it would be the name of the procedure, in this case import. The second child, i.e. index 1, is the module name. Let me just, for now, I'll rename to module name. We'll have to fix that up a bit soon, but and then we've got another optional child. So I guess we need to check if the length of this is 3. If there are 3 children, that means the name of the procedure being called with 2 parameters, in which case we get the second parameter. Otherwise, we said the default was an empty string, didn't we? But I guess there would be main, in quotes, would be the lib. Oh, No, it's the current library that we're in. So, and I'm going to put these quotes around it so that so the handling is easier. I mean, I'm just going to take them straight off again here. So actually, let's make this a bit more clear. We're talking about the lib name now. And these lines here are just taking the quotes off because string literals have quotes on them. And just so that I don't have to do too much special handling here, I'm just going to surround this in quotes. But it's the current path 0, actually. This is the lib name, right? That's the current library we're in. So that's what I was saying, right? If we don't specify this, we look in the current library we're in. That's the idea. So let's close some of these files. So it's either the parameter, the second parameter, or the first thing in the path, which is the current library we're in. Cool. So this path here is the standard lib one. I actually want to make something up here that's like lib locations. Which is like a string slice. And the first place would be standard lib, and the second would be just lib. So the reason I've got this in concatenate is because this one is a relative path, right? This is just saying lib. It's the same as /lib. So it's within your project. Wherever you executed Bangalang from, just the lib folder there. This standard lib folder should be where the Bangalang executable is. You know, it's within the Bangalang project is where the standard lib is. I did a little bit of research on this, and the best way I found to get that is osarg0. That gets you, I hope this is consistent. I'm not sure, but I think this gives you the absolute path of the executable, which in this case is bang. So we actually want to jump up to here and up to here, and then add standard lib on the end. So I guess it's /standard lib. And I think I found a way to do that was path. I think it's like path, file path. And then you can do file path dot dir. Returns all but the last path element, usually the paths directory. Yeah. So in this case, this is returning the path to a file. So it'll get the directory, which means it'll get us bin. And then if I do it again, hopefully that'll effectively jump back up to get Bangalang. So then we get Bangalang /standard lib. Okay, so these are the possible locations where our libraries could be. So I'm going to go lib path equals dot, so that's the current directory. But then we're going to say if libname does not equal main, then yeah, because for the main lib, we just want to look in the current directory in our project. If it's not main, then we want to look through these locations. So for lib location and lib locations, we want to, must be somewhere here where this is where we read the actual file. I guess we never actually checked that the folder exists. Well, that's what we want to do now. So if, well, I guess we want to make the lib path should be a concatenation of the lib location slash the lib name. That should be a folder. If it is a folder, that means we've found the library. So if os.isdir lib path, I guess we break. We're done. We've updated the lib path to correct one. And if we get to the end of this loop and the lib path is still this, that means we didn't find it, right? I think, well, this would now be lib path slash module name dot bang. That's the proper path. So if we needed to get it, from one of these lib locations. We went through here. So we are actually updating the lib path all the time. So maybe this should be like the lib path. And then we'll say here lib path equals the lib path. So lib path only gets updated if we actually find it. And then if we see that we never updated it, then we throw an error to say library not found. And I guess it's just lib name. Library not found. And if it was found, then now we know our path. This should be the qualified name, right? But imports, this should be the path. That should be lib name module name. That should also be the path. So maybe I'll create a path. Normally I just call it path, don't I? So this is like file path. This is only really needed down here. And code data, let's call it module data. And module okay. Okay, so here we need the path, here we need the path. So let's go path as a slash of strings, path, path. Oh, this looks like it also needs the path. Anywhere else where we used module name? Here, no, this should be the qualified module name. I don't know if do we need that anywhere else? Where do we use module name? That should be just the module name. Imports.reference, this should be the qualified name. Okay, no, reference, the imports, that's the path. That's the path now. What if I do :2? Okay, so maybe I'll make this actually a string 2. which means that I probably need to slice it when we do other places. Oh, that is actually expecting 2, but here I need to slice it. And here I need to slice it. Okay. So module name. All right, so it's just here. So I'm just going to substitute in here, get qualified module name from this path. Okay, and if that's already in the modules, then there's nothing to do. We just add a reference and get out of there. We don't have to do the whole loading. I think that's right. Let's see what happens. I mean, we should get some errors. Yeah, that seems legit. We're here and we're looking for core boomstick, but okay, so this looks right. I mean, main is a bit funky, right? But it's okay. Because we should actually be looking in core for a module called boomstick. Yeah, and now in core boomstick. Okay, this is nice. Core boomstick 1.1, we have this error. So let's just go through all of these and fix these ones up. And then in the standard lib, I guess we need to go through all these files, and this one doesn't have any imports. Oh, these we don't need to put core on. It's a bit funky that we're importing vendor from core. Eventually, I think we'll fix that up. Should never happen, really. So yeah, that's boomstick sorted, debug. Can just do it like that. Globals doesn't have any imports. Memory also does vendor. OS Linux. Oops. Strings. Oh, these ones. Oh, I didn't miss anything at the top. Let's try that. Any others? Maybe probably vendor. Oh, get an error. All right. So what path are we looking at here? Core OS Linux. Is module null or something? Okay. Oh, because we still have this, one of these that we didn't find. So this is the current module, because we did do this, but this is for the module we're importing. And this is the current module. Is there anywhere else in this file that we use this? No. So I want to do this now, but for the context path, so to get the current module. Okay, let's try that. Oh, this also wanted it. All right. So we might actually do this like, well, I guess we don't have to do it right at the top, but so the qualified module name and the qualified imported module name, which uses this path, that goes there, this goes here and here. Let's try that. Get qualified module name. Ah, I guess the path only has one element. Examples, example 01, okay. Probably somewhere I missed this. Here we go. yeah, we have this here. So path. I guess we need to put that like that. Let's try that. Still have an issue. Well, path has 2 elements, right? It's not going to show me. 2 elements. So why, when I go into here, oh, what is this path business? So it's the path for this, whatever module name it is. But isn't this already a path? No, this is the qualified module name. Crap, where are we? Here we are. Okay. Wait. Isn't this the qualified module name now? So can't I just do this? Does that not work? Okay, now we have a bunch of, we wrote some assembly. It's full of errors, but that's a start. Probably because it has this main in here. It's not happy about that. Maybe when we're in the main lib, we can just omit this part. So where was the code for that? I think it was in program. Yeah, this here. So maybe maybe we can say the qualified module name is just the module name to begin with. Module name dot module. And then we can say, if path 0 is main, so if we're in the main module, just return that. That's all we need. Otherwise, we get the lib name and we put the lib name on the front. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, now we have a lot less errors. GLSL kernels, I think I construct this manually. So that'll be in generation of a program, I think. Down the bottom. Yeah, kernels. Yeah, so I make these names manually. So it's looking for core.lib, boomstick.module. I think those are all the instances. Hey, there we go. Okay. That turned out to be quite a mission, actually. I didn't think it was going to take, basically an hour to get these imports going. And we haven't even tested yet a local import. So we have imports from standard lib working, but they worked before. So we're at least where we were. But what if we made a local util file? We'll call it examples/util. util.bang. And so we'll have like these procedures, you know, link shaders, compile shader. I think just those few procedures we'll keep in here. And they use GL and GLU and strings and debug. I think that might be it. So here we can cut these ones out now. So maybe we don't use debug here anymore, and probably don't use GLU. So this will be util dot those procedures, and anywhere that we have this becomes util dot. How does that go? Hey, that works. That works. Very slowly, probably because we're recording or something, but nice. So that works. So we have local imports now. That was something that we didn't have before. We couldn't do this before. And then the other thing I just want to quickly check, it doesn't really make sense for us to do it right now, like to have a file here right now. But if we have a lib folder and then we create a new lib called util, and we put our util folder, our file in there also, then we should be able to import util from the util lib. And it should, first it will look in standard library and it'll say like, well, I don't see the util lib in here. And then it'll go to lib and it'll say, ah, here's the util library and here's the util file. Damn. Library util not found. Oh, it needs to be in the Bangalang. It needs to be in Bangalang. Where'd it go? Oh, lib, util, yeah. Okay, scared me for a second there. Now if I go util 2, then it'll be like, hey, I don't know that library. Failed to read module file. Oh yeah, because this is the module, so it did know this one will be, can't find the library. Yeah. Okay, but let's go back to this one and get rid of that. But now we have local imports. And see, for this I didn't need to specify a library because it's in the same library. Cool, I think that's pretty good. We're just about at an hour. There was one other thing. Am I tempting fate a bit to do this? Yeah, let's try and bust it out. This private one here, because it's very closely related, you know, it's also to do with imports. It's like maybe the last little thing I want to do with imports right now. You should be able to specify things as private. And I think the thing that stood out to me as something that could be private is in Boomstick. Yeah, like this thread pool and these GLSL kernels. I'd like to make them private so that you can't access them. So let's make that a nice color because that makes us happy. Where is it? Here. What is it? Private. There we go. Very nice. And I think the main thing is that when you try to access something from another module, but it's private, it should not let you. So in type checking, I think it's identifier. Yeah, so if your identifier is a member of a module, we grab that module, then we check to see whether it is a member of the module. And then we should do a further check. Well, it's once we get the identifier node, I guess. If identifier node.directive is private, then is a private member. That should be the error. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh dear. Invalid token. Expect to open curly bracket, found type colon. For declarations, because these are declarations. Let's have a look at our grammar, because we changed this stuff recently. Left-hand side expression can be a declaration or a primary, and a left-hand side declaration starts with an identifier. It can't start with a directive, that's the problem. So we need to, where is it? Left-hand side declaration. We should be able to go directive, question mark. Yeah, left-hand side declaration could have a directive at the start. So we need to update our parsing to actually do that. Left-hand side left-hand side declaration. Okay, first thing it does is parse that identifier. So let's, yes, we have something like this. Let's first peek the first token, and if we find a directive, I guess we'll need to save it. We get the directive value. And then after we pass the identifier, we assign our directive to it. It's a bit of a roundabout way of doing it, but if we see a directive first, we grab it, put its value here, and then we add it to our identifier node. Does that work? Hey, well, it's happy. Can we make it unhappy? So we have boomstick here. If I say blah is boomstick.pool equals boomstick.pool. Pool is a private member of module boomstick. You cannot access it. Nice. But obviously we access other members of boomstick and other members of all sorts of modules. So that's, yeah, that didn't take too much. Bit of a surprise with the parsing, the extra parsing we had to do. Kind of good that we found that actually. And that takes care of private. And we're at 1 hour and 4 minutes. Is there any other like tiny little stuff? I feel like nothing is actually tiny anymore. There are small things, but not tiny things. I did a lot of the tiny things. Yeah, let's not tempt fate by jumping on any bugs right now. Cool. Oh, well, I guess one thing we could do is actually run our tests. That's tempting fate. When was the last time I did that? Oh dear. Add assign 3. So first thing jumps out to me is we do actually need to update these. Debug from core. That will help. Line 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. we took the colon out of these. They should not need colons anymore. So, is there any more? Debug has not been declared. Oh. We also didn't change the syntax to require the colon here, I guess. Slice 1 has not been declared. Slice 2. So we've got quite a few of those. Wow, how many places are we going to need to do something like this? Anywhere else where stuff is not declared? Probably all over the show. It's really been way too long since we ran tests. So bad. Luckily, it seems to be a lot of the time where there's already an edit, so I can just sort of see, oh, there's an edit. Maybe this was it. var 0, var 0. Okay. Well, here's a var 1 getting declared. var 1 getting declared. Okay, let's see how we go. This var 0. Var 0. All right, let's try that. It has indeed already been declared. I don't know why that's duplicated. We've got var 1, var 2, var 1, var 1. Any more around here? Not that I can see immediately, so let's try again. It must have been a few videos since we last tested. Okay, there we go. They don't take as long as they used to either. I think the performance of my compiler has improved. I want to make more improvements. Right now it type checks everything, even if it doesn't need to. And it's also single threaded. Those are two things I want to tackle at some point. But we have tests running now. Everything's happy, even though I haven't written any new tests for a while. My bad. But I think that's enough for today. So thanks for stopping by. Have a good one. Ciao for now.